There we go. Okay, here we go. So I was getting ready to take this makeup off, but look. Yeah, I'll just kind of. It's not going to come off unless I take it off correctly. So. Okay. I guess we should pull it. It's probably going to splat like a.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Deadly Horizons. Today we have a very special guest. We have Joe Castro. I'm sure everybody has seen your films. I mean, you're a special effects artist, director, producer, writer, all around creative guy. All right.
Thanks for having me on the show, Jeff. Yeah, I've been working in the movie industry for about 43 years now. Started off as a special effects artist and then, made my first feature film back in 1993 and have since produced 19 features. And recently, about 5 years ago, really got the acting bug and have been pursuing that, wholeheartedly as I move forward from here.
That's great. And I didn't realize until recently that you were the devil in Ed Kemper.
I was the devil in Ed Kemper. Yeah.
That was a great role. That's one of my, I think I borrowed that clip from Chad for one of our podcasts. It was
right
a piece of you in it.
when I read the script, Ed Kemper, well, first of all, Chad Farron is an amazing director.
Yeah.
I've made 9 features with him so far, and each one of his films just gets progressively more masterful in his craft of storytelling and filmmaking, but also in just its darkness and depravity of entertainment. And when I read Ed Kemper, I was like, I'm going through and breaking it down for the special effects, and I came across the role of the devil, and I was like, Chad, you got to give me the role of the devil. And he's like, you got it. And I was like, okay. And so I was thrilled to be able to play the devil in the film, and borrow a little bit. Eileen Dietz is one of my close friends. And if you don't know who Eileen Dietz is, Eileen Dietz played Pazuzu in the original Exorcist. She was also basically the actress that wore the device for the vomit throw up in the film, and she did a lot of the special effects stunts that Linda Blair did not do in the movie. So she channeled a little bit of Eileen Dietz Pazuzu in that role as well. Wow. Yeah.
I didn't know that. How could I know that until you told me? That's great.
Yeah.
Exorcist is one of my favorite psychological, philosophical, religious horror movie. It's great. Some people say like the beginning's boring. No, that movie is perfect throughout.
Yeah,
it's
a masterpiece.
Seeing that?
Yeah,
back in the 70s. Can you imagine seeing that coming out fresh?
Yeah, exactly. It must have been just, I'm sure it was like, blasphemous, and there were like literally people picketing movie theaters to get it to not play, and it was, one of a first of its kind, broke so many
publicity.
Yeah,
for sure. It's not, and I don't think nowadays, pardon me, I haven't seen a movie that would shake me. I mean, I've seen a lot of extreme movies, a lot of scary stuff. Can you even remember a movie that you've seen last that just moved you, gave you some fear?
Yeah, well, I am real big on true crime. That's like one of my if people say, what are your hobbies, Joe? I don't really have a hobby. My hobbies are special effects. But if you really want to get down to it, one of my hobbies is watching or studying true crime. I'm a big true crime buff, and like the Forensic Files is like one of my go-tos. I will watch it late at night, but I won't fall asleep to it. So to answer your question, I will never leave it on and go to sleep to it. But I always put it on like how it's made, or like a science show. I like science. I'm as a special effects artist. Yes, I'm an artist in that I rearrange things and make something new and creative out of it, but I'm basically a scientist, working with chemicals and whatnot. And so to answer your question, movies rarely scare me.
Right.
But they do make me uncomfortable. True crime absolutely scares me. And that was one of the aspects I really liked about Ed Kemper. I asked Chad, I was like, Chad, how is the devil involved in this true crime? And Shad said, well, there were recordings I listened to of Ed Kemper, and he describes how he was locked in his mother would punish him and lock him in the basement where there was a furnace, a heater, a wood burning furnace or a coal burning furnace, and he would see the devil in the flames talking to him, telling him things, telling him to hurt animals, to hurt people. And that's where that came from. I was like, oh, that's true crime. That would be a true statement coming from the killer himself. So yeah, so things like that do chill me to the bone. You know, things like that,
because it's closer to real life. That's definitely a crazy story. There's a book I read. I forget the title of it, but it's very descriptive of. He's one of the worst. I mean, they're all pretty bad, but what he did, and I don't know if I was hoping for it. I think that, and this would have been your job in that movie, is like the whole mom scene was definitely.
Yeah, you mean the mom with it being decapitated?
Yeah,
and giving fellatio to her son through their decapitated head. Yeah, that whole thing. You know, sometimes when I read the script, I don't like to read the dialogue because I want to be able to experience the film with as a regular viewer, you know, like an audience member. So I just go through and look at all the action and whatnot. And I remember that was kind of in there, and I was thinking, how are these characters going to be developed and played? So it's always very entertaining. You know, when I watch it the first time, I like to have some sort of surprise. Yeah.
I thought he was going to go for it. I was like, oh man, Chad's going to actually have him doing the mom's head, and we're going to see it, and it's going to be out there.
Yeah.
It was a very funny movie too. I told Chaz I was laughing many times. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I know he made it funny on purpose.
Yeah. You know, there's a director's cut that no one's seen yet.
I might have seen it. He gave us a screener.
So okay, well, no. There's a longer cut that no one has seen.
Okay.
There's a longer cut that no one has seen. And I know for a fact because he said there's going to be another cut later on that he has. So he cut a few things out of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what was trimmed and what made it into the film. I mean, there's some pretty graphic stuff in there in the film. And
Well, the love scenes were definitely pretty graphic, as we call them.
Love scenes with dead body parts. Scenes. Yeah. Wow. I really like the fact that we use, you know, both a little bit of practical and a little bit of digital to do that stuff. He kind of incorporates a fine line between them both. I'm glad that he's embraced that over the years that I've been working with him. I kind of have invented my own, because I'm kind of self-taught with visual effects and practical effects. I've invented my own techniques. And I think Chad has masterfully been able to take those tools with my own take on them and incorporate them into graphic, violent scenarios that work very well without being like, oh, that's digital, oh, that's this, oh, that's that. He's beautifully been able to weave them into these true crime scenarios. Yeah, he's a master at that.
You couldn't tell. I was critiquing like Rob Zombie. I think it was like Devil's Rejects. You could tell the blood wasn't real. I'm like, oh, come on, Rob.
Yeah. You know, most people don't realize that when you watch a horror movie and if it doesn't look real to you, it's probably for the most simplest reason there is. Like the hue or the color of blood. You know, back in like the 2000s, like the mid 2000s, 2009 to 2012, whatever. Most horror films, the blood was way too dark. If you go back and watch any of those movies, it looked like everybody was bleeding demon blood. It was like black.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
I do.
And people don't realize that. Like when you go back, I mean, I rarely watch a horror movie from like about that time period because they all kind of did the same thing. And but today, you know, it needs to be. It's just so important, you know, and that's probably one of the things that I most pride myself on when it comes to doing anything with gore, blood, or slasher practical effects is the hue and the tone of the blood, even the consistency and its opaqueness, because blood shouldn't look like candy syrup. It should look like, you know, it has white blood cells and red blood cells in it. It has other things in it. There's viruses going through it. There's bacteria in it.
Life.
Yeah, there's other stuff happening inside that blood, and it's important that the blood read like, You know, like I grew up on a goat ranch with a slaughterhouse.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
I've seen live animals get slaughtered, you know,
Yeah.
and I've seen the blood like literally pour right out of their neck. I know what it looks like, and when I watch a horror movie and I'm like, that's not even verbal. Are you even trying to make it look real? It doesn't look real, you know. Yeah, I used to. My grandparents owned 55 acres of property, and we had a slaughterhouse on the property, and this was in South Texas. So these Iranians would come to Texas, and they had all kinds of oil deals that were going down at the time. This was like set in the mid 70s, early 80s, and whenever they would cut a huge deal in Texas, they would literally call my grandparents like at 10 at night, and they'd be like, you know, Mr. Burial, we're coming, we to celebrate. And they would come over to the property and drive up in literally limousines
Good Lord.
onto this goat ranch in Helotes, Texas. And we would go and they would go and get a goat, and they would literally slice its throat right there on the front patio, and they would hold goblets underneath its neck and drink the blood directly from the animal's neck to celebrate.
Wow. That's like a movie in itself.
Yeah. I watched it happen
Anyway,
many times.
I can see a small inspiration.
I saw things and partook in things that no child should ever partake in. I
Wow.
think, you know, so, and that's kind of like the foundation of where I'm looking when I look for special effects work, you know, kind of basically the same thing that Tom Savini did when he was when when he was in the war, and he
Yeah.
saw, you know, all the true life atrocities. You know, he you know, if you can look through the eyes of the artist that is creating the thing, you will find that they have based it on some sort of firsthand experience, you know. And if you don't have firsthand experience with the stuff that you're creating and you have no reference, you're probably not going to hit the mark, you know.
That's very interesting that you say that. That's I didn't really think about that. And I'm an artist myself. It's mostly painting and printmaking, and I have an art degree. I drew a lot of serial killer portraits, and a lot of them are actually people I've spoken to for over the phone or right, because I'm a collector and I'm also a pen pal, and that's kind of what started the whole podcast. So yeah, I will draw actually their portraits and I'll send it to them if they can receive it. So it's kind of like that in a way. Yours is definitely more extreme because that's watching you know the visceral the life of the animal.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
man, so no, that's
yeah.
different experience. I'm not going to compare, but I can understand the artist, you know, working with the medium firsthand.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, like something that I've noticed about, like, you know, over the years, things become, you know, make them cheaper, make them faster, put it out there, right? You know, and with films, movies especially, and blood and gore on camera, which is, you know, my kind of area of expertise. You know, people blink that squirting blood is now a special effect. You know, blood flying through the whatever it is. You know, blood does not come out of the human body like this. It doesn't.
No.
Blood doesn't come out. Even if you cut someone's throat, blood doesn't squirt out. It runs down the body. It flows down. It flows out. It doesn't squirt out like a, you know, a beating heart like this. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I mean,
It
doesn't.
makes
It
me
doesn't.
think of like my favorite samurai movies. Like I love like the
Oh
Shogun
yeah,
Assassin.
yeah. Shogun Assassin. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
so fake, but it's freaking awesome when they
Well,
do it.
it's beautiful. It's cinematic, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We do that for cinematography or for the cinema artistry
Right.
of it.
Not
But
to make
like,
it cheap.
right, exactly. But for like Chad Farron film,
Yeah.
the true crime telling master that he is, I told him, I said, if we're looking at this gore, I want it to be medically accurate. I want it to appear to be as if we're, I mean, how can you say that you're making a true crime film based on the experiences of the actual killer if you're not looking at what the killer saw? And that made a lot of sense. So, you know, the first thing I do whenever there's a murder or a death or whatever it is, I mean, Google. I mean, I don't try to make it up in my own mind because
Yeah.
my own mind is not going to be as powerful as the real thing. You know?
It's true. So you're saying that you will, the crime scene, you'll go look at the actual
Oh,
crime photos.
yeah, I will actually go right to
Yeah.
exactly what it's supposed to be and bullet, wounds to the head, how and most people don't realize that when someone dies, you can get shot in the head and live if the bullet exits your brain because your brain is made up of different areas of expertise in itself. So you could take out a portion of your brain and the rest of it could still function.
Yes.
That's why people who are shot in the head and goes in one side and out the other live and can have a life. But if the bullet stays in your head, you will die because what happens is the bullet goes into the skull. Do you know what I'm getting ready to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And it ricochets around and turns your brain into mashed potatoes.
Mashed
People don't realize.
potatoes,
Yeah. People don't Jello, right? It liquefies your
Jello,
brain.
with,
Yeah,
oatmeal.
yeah. It liquefies your brain.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
so people don't realize that. Yeah. So
Wow.
and it's this kind of stuff that I study and then get into. With even like I'll look at a picture of someone's like special effects work online, and they'll have like blood on their face or whatever it is, and I'm like, that's humanly impossible to have blood on your face like that. Do you realize that? Like, blood would never come out of another person's body or your own and be like that on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, they're like these forensic artists that are. I mean, these forensic scientists. They're artists, right? Of
Yes.
how they look at a blood drip and like why it is the way it is. Like that's why I love the forensic file so much because it literally will explain to me why a blood looks the way it splatters or is the way it splatters or what had happened. And I think that's also very important when you look at a film and determine whether or not it's real or fake. It's all these things to come into play.
So you and Chad are bringing back, although they never really left it. This is definitely true crime, serial killer movies, and there's good stuff. I like it. I like the recent Ed Gein. I thought it was great, entertaining. But you guys are taking it to a different realm. You're bringing it to like the working man serial killer. And Chad, I've been watching his films. I told him I didn't realize it was you. I've been watching it since the early 2000s. Like that's your movies. Like was it the Easter Bunny Kill? Like I didn't know that was him at the time, and he's really evolved.
Absolutely, he's evolved. Yeah.
Are you working with him on the Night Stalker? Are we allowed to talk about that?
I don't know if I can talk about that.
We'll talk about it, but
I don't know if I can talk about it. But I have read the script. I have read the script, and it is amazing. It is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I've seen the Dorothea one.
Oh, yeah,
it's great too.
Yeah, it's another masterpiece. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
Susan's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was a really solid, entertaining movie. I mean, even if you don't like horror or true crime, it's an entertaining film. It's kind of like a film for, if you like Law and Order, I think you would get into it. I think you would like it if you were, yeah. It has a comedic tone that's also super entertaining. That's weaved throughout the entire film. That would keep any audience member engrossed in it. And the story just moves. It just flows from beginning to end, which is, something that most movies of the 70s and 80s contain, that makes us keep going back over and over again to the tried and true versions of all the films that we really loved. Today, most movies that are made are, there's no really nice way to put it other than, simplified, cheaper carbon copies of something that was masterfully executed back when it first began, but Chad likes to get right back to that. He's always going back to the original source material to do that, which makes his movies very authentic. And he absolutely has his own style. Then it's very obvious. Yeah.
And he's covering the greats. He's doing the Sunset Strip Killers. I'm. Like I said, we can't talk about it much, but I know that
I like that. I could talk about only because I worked on it, and I had my first nude role in the film. As an actor, got to be in it, and I'm super proud of it. And I got to do some really great on-screen kills, a couple of really cool stuff. I love it when Chad says, "Let's shoot it like this," and then he gives it to me, and I get to finesse it, and after the fact, and really just bring out all the little details I love. There's a shot in the movie I think you would mind me talking about. He shoots this girl point blank in the neck in a car, and you see it literally rip through her neck, come out the other side, splatter all over the car door. And as she's going down, you could just see the first big drop of blood coming out of the hole in her neck. And it's done in slow motion.
Oh, wow.
So you get to really, the gun just comes right up to her neck, just boom, without any warning. It's so graphic, so cruel and murderous. Yeah, yeah. Super proud of that shot.
To compare it, I'm thinking Maniac with Tom Savini in the car scene where he goes, he jumps on, was it, I forget the guy's name, jumps on the hood and he goes, blasts him and slow-mo. It seems like we're going back to Fulci. We're going to Tom Savini. We're bringing,
absolutely. 100%.
It needs to come back.
I even asked Chad, can we use real bullets? I mean, why can't we? Well, if we're just doing a special effect and there's no one in front of the, can we? I want to shoot stuff, and I mean, I grew up on a goat ranch. But I learned how to shoot a shotgun when I was 5 years old, and so I had a gun under my bed. My brother had a gun under his bed, and we had two guns by the front door. And my father had that 38 revolver on his nightstand next to him. I could just take it outside and at any moment I want, just for fun, and shoot it in the backyard. And one of the first things I did was make a hollow plaster cast of one of my friends' faces and put I put balloons filled with blood up inside it, and I took it out to the back and put some shoulders on it and shot it, and I had my father shoot it with a shotgun to see how it exploded, and it worked perfectly. Of course, we can't have a real gun on a movie set out here in LA.
Yeah, there's certain laws against it. Yeah, Brandon Lee's were lost, but
But I mean, if we were doing it as a a controlled environment with like just the special effects artists or just the special effects and having it done, we probably could get away with it, but probably not with any actors on set anywhere or anything like that. I don't know. But it would be nice to be able to actually shoot things on camera again, like they used to do, because there's nothing like a real bullet ripping through something. There's nothing like, it's like watching an actual car crash in a movie. And from the 70s or 80s, there's nothing like it. In fact, one of my all-time favorite scenes of recent was Terminator 3. Do you remember in Terminator 3 when Arnold Schwarzenegger was attached to that crane in the front of that, I want to say, fire engine, and the female Terminator was driving him and smashing him into a building, and all that stuff. All that was practical. Like, all that was so amazing to watch. How all that stuff
real stunt people back then.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Movies
just like
real.
2003, 2004, I think, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, even if there's a scorpion part of the scene, they'd roll up, they'd squish it for real.
Oh yeah, no, that I won't do. That I won't do. I won't use any real animal parts anymore, or kill real bugs on camera. Yeah. But we grew up in a time, if in the 70s, 80s, where they would use, they would squish real bugs, or they would use real animal parts. Normally, if you saw a brain, like a real brain on camera in a movie, like in the 70s or 80s, they had literally just killed the animal that day and removed its brain for the shot. I would never do that today. That's
Couple, like have you ever seen the movie Thriller: A Cruel Picture?
I don't think I've seen that one. No.
It's Tarantino liked the movie, and he used the Daryl Hannah character in Kill Bill with the patch. She was a young girl that was trafficked. She was human trafficked to do the trafficky things. You know what I'm talking about? And then she went and got revenge. And I think that they used a real scene, or I think she stabbed this in the eye, and it was a real cadaver that they used for it.
Oh, an actual dead cadaver of a person?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. In Dorothea, there's a scene where Brenda James has a nightmare that she's being killed by an anonymous shadowy figure, and have you seen Dorothea yet?
Yeah.
And there's a straight edge razor that's drawn across her eye, and Chad wanted me to reproduce something from a very famous French foreign film. I guess they used like a cow eyeball, and they cut it open or something.
Oh wow!
And they shaved the hair around the cow's face and did it. I'm sure the cow was dead. At least I would hope the cow was dead when they did it. But I wasn't. He sent me the reference. I was like, "What's the festival?" I said, "Do you have any reference, or how do you want this to be?" And he sent me the YouTube video reference of this thing. I had no idea what I was getting ready to watch. I went, "Oh my God!" I didn't want to. I wasn't prepared to see it. I wasn't prepared to see it now. And I read the caption that it was an actual cow's eye that they had cut open.
Wow. That's
But
how you did it.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't Fulci do that in Zombie? Or the eye scene with the splinter going in the eye?
I don't know if that was a real animal eyeball, but I think it was a fake head.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a fake head for that.
Yeah.
But he used real intestines, and of course they stepped on maggots and put maggots in fake blood and killed them on camera. All those little critters and stuff dying for our entertainment. Yeah, it's very hard for me to watch those old movies now that I know
Really?
that's when down.
The
Yeah,
animals.
yeah.
I don't enjoy it. I kind of appreciate it for its time.
I mean, if you think about it, like, I mean, it's one thing to be a vegetarian or a vegan, but to literally kill animals on camera for our own entertainment, I cannot get behind that anymore.
No.
We've come so far as a society. We don't need to, making fake and in actuality, real intestines don't photograph as well as you think on camera. When you get them covered in fake blood and dye, they don't look the same anymore. And yeah. Anyways, but
Yeah. No, I like that subject.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It changes. Not as fresh.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
doesn't look. It doesn't
decomposed a
look the
bit.
same.
It's hard to.
Yeah.
Wow. And going over your filmography, like I didn't know that you were part of Campfire Tales. I love that movie.
Campfire Tales.
1997.
Yeah, I think we shot it. I shot it in '96. They shot it in '96. Yeah, and some big names came out of that film. What's his name? So the guy that plays, I think, Cyclops in the X-Men. I forget what his name is.
I
Anyways,
don't even remember.
yeah, yeah, and it was back. My early 20s were a blur. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, everybody's.
That was a blur. It was my
Yeah.
early to mid 20s. I was 26 when I worked on that film, and I just remember them saying, "Okay, show up here. You're gonna be pouring a lot of blood," and that's what we did. There's a picture of me online with one of my other team members, and we have both of our hands up, and our hands are just stained blood red. It was a scene where it was I think a flashback sequence of being inside of a cabin, and the cabin was covered in blood. On the walls had blood all over them from a murder, and we just sprayed the walls down. And I remember the art department was like, "Don't put too much blood because we have to shoot it clean tomorrow." They shot it backwards.
Oh shit.
And the director looked over at me and goes, "More blood."
More blood. We'll deal with it. We'll paint over it. Whatever we got to do, we'll take care of it.
Our art department telling me, "Don't do it," and the director's going, "Do it." That's
It's a great movie, and if no one's seen it, I feel like it's a hidden gem. I saw it like 20 years ago for the first time. I'm like, I can't believe how great this film is.
20 years ago. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah.
Great Glenn Quinn was in it.
Glenn Quinn.
Yeah, Mark from Roseanne.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Here, I know I just posted something about it on my Facebook while I was going to see if I could see the name of that character in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me see. His name is James Marsden. Marsden from X-Men. He's also the prince in Enchanted. The guy you ever seen the movie Enchanted?
I've seen that either.
You ever seen the Disney movie Enchanted? Oh, that's a great film.
My family watches it, and I read and watch.
That's a great film. That's a great film.
All right.
Yeah. And he also plays Cyclops in the guy that wears the visor in the original X-Men movies. Yeah, the Bryan Singer movies. Yeah.
Wow. And then if we trail to Glenn Quinn from Roseanne, and then also
Glenn Quinn from Facebook. Yeah, he was the guy that played the girl's husband, right? He went on to do
Becky's husband.
Didn't he go on to be in another show? Wasn't he in the
Angel from Buffy?
Oh, he was an angel from Buffy.
He was an angel.
Okay. Yeah.
Such a loss. But I was pleasantly surprised that you did the Three Stooges for Dan Connor in Roseanne.
Yes, yeah. It was one of my very first gigs. Yeah. And that was like 19, I was 20, I think I was 20, 21 years old. It was either 90 or 91. Yeah. And,
Long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, and when you're in your 20s and you're working on stuff, it just doesn't seem like a big deal at the time. You're just running through life, running around, fearless, right? Nothing's going to
Yep.
hurt you, stop you now, kind of thing. And
Thinking quickly. You didn't even get
yeah,
to meet the cast at all, right? You're just playing behind the
no,
scenes. You just
I
made it
had,
for them.
we literally had less than 24 hours to make it. Literally. I remember it was they were filming like on Thursday afternoon, and on
Yeah.
Wednesday morning we got the check to start, and it had to be delivered that Thursday morning, and they attached it to these two uh, the two heads we made. They attached to football shoulder pads. That's how they made his costume. Originally, I guess they thought that they were going to be able to go out and find some rubber masks likenesses of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Three Stooges, but they were some trademark problem, and no masks had ever been made. And so they, at the time, you can go down to Hollywood Boulevard. I live here in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, near
Okay.
Hollywood Boulevard, and there's a place called the Hollywood Toy Store, and you can walk in there any day of the year, and they have a wall of every like persona that's ever been made into a rubber mask. Every president, very famous president. You're gonna find like an O.J. Simpson mask there. I'm sure you're gonna find a Trump mask there. I'm sure you're gonna find
Yeah.
the not Three Stooges, but any major personality you're gonna find. Dolly Parton or something like that. You're gonna find there, and they probably thought they could just show up there and get one, and but they didn't have one, so it was our job to make those masks, and like I think we had like 4 hours to sculpt them, and 6 hours to pour them up and paint them, and be done with it and move on. Yeah, so
Well, it turned out great, and it became Halloween history. We watched that every year.
that's
The
right.
Roseanne
I
episodes.
know. That's so
Right?
funny. Some of my greatest achievements have been out of sheer uh, what's the word? It's just coincidence or just act by accident. Like another one of the things I'm most famous for is this mask that was worn by the villain in this movie called Uncle Sam. And there's he's basically basically Uncle Sam. He's like a dead corpse zombie walking around with an Uncle Sam mask on. And at the time, my boss thought, give it to Joe to make. Joe's not a very good special effects artist. It'll look cheap and it'll look bad, and
What?
that's what we're looking for, right?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like a store-bought mask. So they gave it to me to put together. Someone else had sculpted it and vacuum poured it, but they gave it to me to put the hair on it and kind of paint it and fix it up, make it look like an actual mask, and it became the most iconic piece of the whole film. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for not believing in me.
Inspiration. I like when you hate me.
Yes, exactly.
That's what drives us.
Yeah.
It does.
Another one of my bosses uh didn't take a job because they weren't offering that much money to do it. It was for a movie called Blood Feast 2, which is actually the sequel to the very first slasher splatter movie ever made. And it was directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis back in 1963. He made a movie called Blood Feast.
The master.
And yeah, exactly. If you don't know who Herschel Gordon Lewis is, and you like horror or true crime or any of that stuff, then your education is lacking.
Ooh,
So go
Gilmore Girls
watch.
are my favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were going to make Blood Feast 2, and my boss turned down the job, and they said, "Hey, give it to Joe to do. Joe's Joe will ruin it or whatever." They wanted Joe. Joe's not that good. Give it to them to do, because I don't want these guys to succeed with their film. And they gave it to me, and it literally became like one of the most quintessential turning points of my entire career. I got to, first of all, I got to work with Herschel Gordon Lewis. I poured my heart and soul into the project. They got everything that they needed. It became, a kind of a gore masterpiece for Herschel, kind of a resurgence of his career. And we became best friends. And later on, I had a very, very great relationship with him. He mentored me for many years until he died in 2016. And I got him to be in my films and endorse my films as well. So it was an amazing experience. Yeah. Yeah.
I can only imagine. And I don't know how his movies got away with what he did back in the day.
Oh yeah, they were literally considered pornography because they were so graphic, and yeah.
It's funny. They think that blood is pornography.
Well, they consider it pornography is considered obscene.
Right.
Obscene
Yeah.
material,
Got
and
it.
it's against the law to to produce and distribute obscene material in the United States of America. And there's like an actual board or whatever of these Christians that actually deem things obscene or not. And so if you distribute them, then you can be arrested. And sometimes the law is thrown off the books, and sometimes it's brought back. And there was a time when having blood and nudity in color on camera would be considered obscene, and you could be arrested for it.
They didn't have a toilet until Psycho. Right? That was considered taboo.
Was on camera in an actual bath in an actual I bet that's right, huh? That's
Yeah.
right. That was the year before. That was or that was 1961, I believe. Psycho, I think it
60,
was 19,
61 around there. Yeah.
yeah. So Psycho came first, but Psycho didn't exploit blood. Even though it had murder in it, it wasn't the same as what Herschel did. Herschel developed the
No.
very first slasher film where he
Yeah.
literally exploited blood and gore and killing on camera in blood red color. And he did it all himself. He shot it, he wrote the script, he edited the movie, he directed it, he actually scored the music for the film himself, and he created all the special effects. So that was Herschel. Herschel was the first micro budget independent filmmaker
He
that
is.
and he did it. He
binge
showed us
some tonight. I think my favorite line from Blood Feast is like, "Have you ever had an Egyptian feast?"
Beast. Yeah, have you ever had to do? Yeah, exactly.
The eyebrows didn't have like big old
Yeah.
eyebrows going on.
Yeah. And I noticed that when people watch Blood Feast, they think it's campy because it has been copied so many times
Yeah.
and parodied so many different ways since 1963 that when you watch the original, you think it's a parody of something that you've already seen and don't realize it was the very first one ever.
Yeah, it's do you call it campy? Not necessarily. It's acting style of the time.
It's kind of brutal, actually. You go back and
Yeah.
watch. It's super brutal.
It
Makes you. I remember the first time watching Blood Feast, and it made me feel a little like taken advantage of or violated. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like bullied. It made me feel mistreated in some way. Yeah, yeah,
Oh no, Uncle
yeah.
Herschel, no.
Yeah. It made me
Yeah.
feel very, very. It was pretty dark, very dark for its time, and yeah, it holds up today, but it's pretty graphic. If you're not into the exploitation of blood and killing, it's probably not going to be a film you want to watch.
I mean, no,
No.
I agree. It is still, I think, still extreme for today. And it's colorized, and it's got like a very weird color to the blood that I like. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a light's beaconed upon it. Like he really wanted that blood to stick out, so it's bright, kind of glazed over in a way, which I like.
Most people don't realize this, but in 2007, my husband, Stephen Escobar, and I sat down with Herschel and interviewed him on camera for an hour. And he divulged to us the original blood formula that was used in Blood Feast. So basically, I am the curator of the original blood that was used in that film. And no one else knows the formula but me. And sometimes I still use that blood formula on movie sets.
Wow, that's cool to have that knowledge.
And one day I will pass it on to someone else.
Well, it's like Italian grandma passed along that recipe of her sauce. You know,
Yeah.
you got to keep that secret to the next generation. I mean, is there any other? I think Chad Farron is the next generation. He has been. He's bringing it to the full front. But I don't know. I just can't think of any Hollywood movies that are really doing it for me. Like Black Phone's pretty cool. I don't like those. You know.
Yeah,
You seen
I did see the original, the first one. I saw it on an airplane.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. I think it was very entertaining, but it was PG-13, and so it lacked the actual terror and the visceral reality that Chad with ease captures in every one of his films.
Yes.
Because he is, like I said, a master of his own craft, and he is studied the greats, but absolutely self-taught in a way that his work stands alone and stands out from everyone else's.
Yeah.
As his own subgenre of horrific entertainment, terrifying entertainment to its own other level. Yeah.
He's got great camera angles. He brings in a great score that's sympathetic to the scene. You know,
He works with consistently with the same people over and over
yeah,
again. I've made 9 movies with him now, and he literally finesses and studies and improves with each film how to create something even more powerful than the one before. Every single time we do this, keeps pushing me every single time. He keeps pushing me. We're gonna do this now. We're gonna do this now. We're gonna do this now. And you know, I mean, how else are you going to become better at what you do if you don't try to do something you've never done before?
right.
You know.
I can't wait to see where he goes next. I think the Night Stalker, and I think he even kind of alluded to it's going to be pretty nasty. I'm like, oh yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
going to
be
be edge of your seat.
Yeah,
I don't even want to. I'm not gonna say. I don't want to say. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to say nothing.
we don't have to. We'll keep
Oh.
it a surprise. I'm getting people pumped for it because you're going to want to watch it. Nothing needs to be said other than what
It's
Chad
coming.
said.
It's
gonna
coming.
be-
It's coming.
coming.
It's
Uh,
coming.
It's going to knock anything that Netflix can put together or
If,
Peacock.
if he can get on camera half of what's in the script
Yeah.
on camera and to the viewer's eyes, it's gonna be like eating a giant box of chocolates. You're gonna be sick by the end of it.
Oh, man. And I hope this one gets in some
Oh.
theater release. I want to see it in the
Yeah.
big screen. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah. You have to watch a film like that on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's eating like a giant box of chocolates. You know.
No, I
So-
haven't been that excited since, I told him it's like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I saw that in the theater. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one too.
and
Yeah, my
they're
favorite
like-
scene. My favorite scene is where the killer convinces that little girl to shoot her brother or her mother or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, she said if you shoot your mother, then I won't. I'll let you live. And she shoots her, and then she
Yeah.
she lied. She kills her in
It's
her
crazy.
anyways.
It's like
yeah, just yeah.
Grindhouse.
Oh gosh,
Not
so
Tarantino
crazy.
Grindhouse, which I like, but it's like Grindhouse, like you're watching at midnight. You feel guilty for watching it. It's kind of
yeah.
feeling dirty, like watching the Herschel Gordon.
Yeah,
movies.
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I
It's
love that.
taboo, and it's
Yeah, it's taboo. Yeah. And we're
think-
doing the things that mainstream cinema just will not do because
No.
we cross the line.
I guess it takes a special mind to be able to process that and not, act it out. And just kind of like analyzing it, appreciating it for the art and the story. Feeling bad for the victims, of course. That it's all rolled up into one ball.
Oh, people
know?
that are being exploited for the fun of it. Yeah,
Right.
for the entertainment value of it. Yeah, I mean, the great thing about what Chad does is he does it wrapped up in a nice bow, which what I mean is it's done with such talent. You can see the talent behind it. It's not the exploitation of someone. It's it's the artistry of what exploitation did, but with all the safety that comes with making a mainstream film today.
Exactly. And now, as we're heading kind of near the end of the interview, Bill, let's get a little into true crime. So you live in Los Angeles. Have you visited any key locations? Like, have you been to Cielo Drive, Spawn Ranch?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not. But living in a big city, I've seen a lot of horrific things.
You see it in
Super.
person. You don't need to visit.
I've seen
after.
some horrific things.
Really?
One of the most horrific things I ever saw was I've seen a couple of things, but one of the most horrific things I ever saw was on Thanksgiving morning. I was driving over to a friend's house and I saw a vagrant die in the street and get hit by a car.
Oh,
And then
man.
the car behind that car ran the body over again.
Yeah.
And that was so horrific. Jesus Christ, it was horrific. And I'll never forget that. But as far as crimes are concerned, I mean, you'd be surprised. I'm sure people have seen the crazier shit, but I saw this one guy run a red light and just get whaled by another car, and that guy that ran the red light got out of his car with his arm dangling by his side. He was been broken,
man.
just teetering there, like just flopping around. I've seen one time actual someone murdering someone else. I think I've ever seen someone actually. Well, I mean,
not.
it depends. I mean, with your car, but
Yeah.
have I seen someone
Manslaughter.
murder someone else? No. I don't think I've seen someone murder someone else,
No.
yeah.
I mean, Hollywood's just the mecca of like old crime, because I was mentioning, Cielo Drive from the Charles Manson kind of stuff and Spawn Ranch.
Mm.
I'm from Ridgecrest, California. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Mm.
It's over by Mojave Desert. It's kind of near the
Okay.
entrance to Death Valley, close to
Okay.
Trona. It's a
Okay.
naval town.
Oh, I know where the Toronto Pinnacles are. Wait, Ridgecrest. Yes, I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been to Ridgecrest. It's a tiny little town.
tiny.
Tiny
Yeah.
little town. We actually stayed there one night in an
Oh
Airbnb
wow.
when we were filming at the Toronto Pinnacles. Yeah. And we
There you
have been.
go.
I've been. There was like one bar restaurant opened. I remember that day. That was it. That was all that was
Yeah.
open that day. I
That's
think there was.
Ridgecrest.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wind and it's tumbleweeds blowing around. That's all it is.
Wow. What did
Yeah.
you do there? How'd you grow? You grew up there?
Kind of. I went there. So I was born there, and my folks and we moved when I was 4, but my
Well, there's
grandparents
not a
stayed there.
hospital there. How were you born there?
China Lake Hospital.
Oh, there's a hospital there.
Yeah.
God, because that town was T90. I mean, you could. What's
Yeah.
even a stop? I don't even. There's a stoplight. There's just a main street, isn't there?
No, there's a few stoplights. It's small. I went there every summer from the age of
Ridge-
probably
is it-
7
is
to
it-
15.
Steve, isn't Ridgecrest where we stayed? That the Airbnb from Toronto Pinnacles? Steven? Oh, he's got his headphones on. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, tiny. But
It's tiny. It's tiny.
it was hard to live out there. And my parents, or my dad and his parents, used to live in Wild Rose Station in Death Valley back in the late 60s near Barker Ranch. And they actually knew some of the Manson girls. They would come there and get gas and food and stuff. So and my parents have been obsessed with that ever since.
Well, that would be a good town where criminals could harbor up. That
Sure.
would be a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a good place. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss California. I like it there. It's funny when people said like people from California are fake. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. It's actually some of the nicest people I ever met.
Yeah, no, California is a great place. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of. I mean, weird, yes. Fake, no. Well, I don't know.
We like weird.
There's a lot of fakes out here, though. Too. I'll be honest with you.
If you go
Yeah,
deeper
no.
into Hollywood,
Yeah,
more than
maybe
likely.
Hollywood itself. Yes. Yeah.
Of course. But they could be in New York. There's fake people in New York, part of the entertainment scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you there.
Do you have a favorite or most interested true crime subject? I know we can't say like my favorite serial killer is this because I don't favor serial killers, but do you have a story that intrigues you the most?
Probably not. Probably not. It intrigues me the most. No, I think that most serial killers are I don't even think they're human, really, to be honest with you. There's a whole other like other hybrid of animal, in order to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing humane about them, with the way they go about doing what they do or why they do what they do. It's all very selfish, very self-absorbed, narcissistic, sociopathic. I mean, I like I'll be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of true crime stories on television. Like I said, I study true crime for my job, and I'm very fascinated by it. But whenever I watch something that has blood and gore and killing, I like it with a little bit of like fantasy. Kind of takes the edge off a little bit, I mean, there's so much of it. There's so much of it in the news that to sit and watch it just for entertainment purposes can be a little painful at times.
Jarring, painful.
I think that's why
Good words.
Chad does such a great job of making it entertaining.
Yeah.
That's why he does such an amazing job. Yeah, with that, you're not watching a slasher movie. If
No.
you think you're watching one of Chad's movies, it's not slasher at all. It is real entertainment and wrapped around true crime. It just happens that there's a lot of very graphic imagery involved in it. Yeah, everything that they're not doing in Law and Order SVU is what Chad does in his. So you know what I'm saying? Like if they could make Law and Order SVU but rated R or NC-17, it would be amazing.
It would be way much
It
better.
would be way better.
Yeah.
Way better. It would be way because we watched that show. So there you go. If you but as far as an actual story of one of the, I mean, they're all so interesting. I had no idea that the Night Stalker was so wild with his ways of doing what he did. He's probably the most wildest I've heard of, besides Ed Gein. But the things he did were so wild, so out there that it's super interesting to me.
Yeah.
How he was about, and I think that's.
there's a lot of studies I think that are missing from Ed Gein for comparison. Was he so disconnected? Was there a lot of malice to it? To me, he was like a very extreme oddity collector. He was digging up the corpses. That could have been something that was maybe common in certain areas back then. They might have said, man, he's just a little quirky. He digs up the dead bodies, not such a big deal. But when he took it to the next realm of actually killing people for it, but if you compare him to the Night Stalker, I think Richard Ramirez was a little bit more conscious in what he's doing and a little bit more evil to it. It's all evil. It's all fucked up. But I think Richard Ramirez is a whole different level of fucked up.
Yeah, he is a whole different level of aggression.
Yes.
Of animal aggression.
Right. Because he would torture them beforehand if he could.
Yeah.
So it's not comparing like so and so's worse or better. It's all bad. This is kind of a study of what brought them there. Yeah. And that's kind of what my co-host, I wish she was here, Sharon and I, what we do is when we got into pen paling, it got into, I wanted to poke the bear because I was watching YouTube videos on people writing serial killers or other prisoners. I'm like, okay. I was always warned, don't do that. So, like Charles Manson was the biggest one that people want to write to. And said, if you write to him, he has people that can come after you. He has people on the outside.
Yeah. Why would you? Yeah, don't even. Yeah, don't. Why do you poke that bear? Yeah.
Why you poke the bear? But because I wanted to hear what they would say about it. You probably don't get the full story from them. And I like to kind of understand why they did it is like a prevention of like, how can we help other folks avoid this? What are some of the keys?
I think that most of the damage is done long before you would ever even notice there's anything you could do about it.
That's the problem. I agree.
Yeah,
it is. It's before, it's kids that grow up that could have some type of, like I spoke with the gentleman recently. He was hearing voices as a kid, but it sounds like it was trailing to his father's abuse towards his mom and kind of towards him. So he's not sure when the voices started, but it seems like it could have been heightened by that. And then he got into alcoholism and womanizing. And he was saying, like, I don't know what got me into this. So obviously the drugs, he might have some, mental illness. And he also grew up in a very abusive household.
Yeah, I think the drugs actually are a solution to the problem. They aren't actually part of the problem. Most people don't realize that. The drugs and alcohol actually calm the mind, or they're a solution to quieting the mind, as opposed to revving it up to do more. Even though some people think so, because if drugs and alcohol can't make you do any more than what was already there. It just exacerbates the problem. People don't realize that alcoholics are alcoholics without the drugs and alcohol.
Right.
They use drugs and alcohol at the beginning as a solution to their problem, and then it becomes out of control. And then eventually you have to fix the problem. It's like, if you're a serial rapist and you drink alcohol to quiet your mind, it makes you a quieted mind serial rapist. Does that make sense?
It does. I want to put that into a scenario with Dahmer. So when he was doing his crimes, he would drink quite a bit, and he was drinking before that. Yeah. So do you think
he was always the murderer? Yeah. He used the alcohol to either give himself permission to do what he was doing or to quiet his mind. And, and it's the same with an alcoholic, is that they use drugs and alcohol to change the way they think and feel in a way that would be more comforting, or they think that would be at the beginning. And it works well until it stops working. And then they're just left with the person who had the problem to begin with that led them to drink and use.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So no scary field trips for you in California to visit the death sites.
No, sorry.
All right. All right. How about what is your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie?
Oh, that's a tough one, but only because I become so close to some of the actors from the films. It'd be like, because I love 3, 4, and 5 are probably my favorite. 3 probably being the best, and then 3, 4, and 5 I think you can watch. You can watch all of them back to back, but 3, 4, and 5 are my favorite.
They're humorous.
And I got really close with Danny Hassel recently, the guy that played the motorcycle. We had the motorcycle death. Freddy turns into the motorcycle and it goes up inside of him and turns him into.
He's got the need for speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got really close, and then Beatrice, Mama Freddy, Mama Kruger. I got real close with her. and and then just recently met Heather for the first time at a party here in Halloween. And
Oh wow.
one of my, I saw her from across the room. I'm like, that's Heather Landicott. I'm gonna go over and take a picture with her. And then I'm like, I got close, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't come. And then, of course, one of my friends who had
Yeah.
way more courage than I did went over and told her, my friend Joe wants to take a picture with you, just to kind of push my buttons, you know.
That's
And
funny.
and so I go to walk over there. She goes, "Hey, Joe, your friends," and I just lost it, you know.
She's intimidating. I met her once, but it was in a convention setting, and I prepared it. So I had a little wooden coffin box, and I drew her face on it from part one with the telephone.
Uh-huh.
And my wife was filming it. And I gave it to her, and she's very appreciative. She goes, "Oh, you're an illustrator." And then later on, we were part of the VIP of that, and we're in there. And she walks in and she looks at us, and she just like, "Oh God!" I'm like, "I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to bother you. I probably creeped you out. You probably have people stalking you and giving you shit. I'm not.
Yeah,
I just want to give you a piece." So my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street is part two, the most hated movie of the genre. It's awesome because it's got S&M in it. To me, it's like the most dirtiest, gringiest, and this where he's the creepiest. He's playing his full on pervert.
Yeah.
And
No, don't get me wrong. I think
Yeah.
they're all amazing.
yeah,
I think they're all amazing, and even the nightmare with the seven, I think they're all amazing. Yeah, and I agree with you about what you just said about part two. Yeah, it is kind of like he is I think he's the most evil in part two.
and
Freddy.
Mark
Yeah.
Patton, his last name, I don't. He
Yeah.
was
Mark
great.
Patton. Yeah.
He is a scream queen, and I love that guy. And I wish him, gosh, the best. I missed seeing him so many times in conventions. I know he's not doing so great in health, which is very sad. He's
always been very kind to me online.
he's great. I know he had that documentary filmed about him because there's a lot of controversy about the film, which is it's silly. It really
Yeah.
is. You know, they're blaming the director for making it something that I just saw it as a movie. I didn't see anything else to it.
We recently saw it here. We have a lot of revival houses here
Yeah.
in LA. The New Beverly, the one that Quentin Tarantino runs, is plays movie. You can see any old '80s horror film there at least once a year. You know, I've seen some of the best there, and we
Yeah.
saw Nightmare on Elm Street 2 there, and on the big screen again, and it's amazing. It's an amazing film. Yeah, yeah.
It is. I saw it like in a 4K, which I don't need my movies like cleaned up, but it really made things pop, you know, and you can really see a lot of the special effects more.
Oh yeah, I can really appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so and then we're taking it back to true crime. I saw a brand new print of the original Psycho at the American Cinematheque here with my
Yeah.
husband, and was watching Anthony Hopkins run out. Anthony Perkins run out on the camera, dressed with a wig and the hair. He makes this insane face. Most people don't
It's
realize
scary.
this
Yeah.
in this wide shot that you can't see on a small screen. You cannot see it on a screen at home in full effect. But when you're watching it in a giant movie screen in a
Yep.
movie theater, you see like the level of artistry that was captured. It was the first time I had ever noticed it and seen it in that way. So
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Psycho.
Psycho, yeah. I actually loved the remake too. I don't know what you thought about it, but
I
I
liked
thought
it.
I thought they did a great job. There's some
Yeah.
really cool stuff in there that that really brought it to the next level. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'll watch anything Psycho. The sequels are great.
The sequels are great. Yeah.
I think
I saw Psycho 2 on my birthday. I think I was 12 or 13 years old. My one of my cousins picked me up from school and took me to see Psycho 2, and I was like, wow, it was an amazing sequel. It was good. Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
great.
the
Have you
knife
seen
right through the mouth and out the back of
Oh
the head.
man, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen the new Frankenstein on Netflix?
I have not seen it yet. I have not seen it yet,
I
and
liked
I'm
it.
gonna see it. I've not seen it yet. The look of the monster is throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, I get that.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. I'll see it with an open mind. I might love it. I didn't like Pinocchio. We did the Pinocchio film that he did.
I didn't either.
I got 15 minutes in. I'm like, sorry, this is not for me. So,
You're gonna have to give this one a little bit longer because I was
Okay.
almost at 23. I was like, I don't know. It gets better, but it's very slow.
Well, I heard that he had to produce Frankenstein in order to do the movie he wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's why it was done. He had to do this. He had to do this, and you want to do that. So he did it so that way he could do something else. which is sounds right. It sounds about right. It sounds about right. That sounds about right. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. So
And
I'm
he's
like,
messing with my favorite Universal monsters. You know,
oh, there you go.
I love Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You can't-
I love Frankenstein too.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing been better than the originals.
Well, I have my own version of Frankenstein that I'm going to do.
Do you?
Yeah, and it's going to be completely something different, new, something fun.
All
So,
right.
and I know that was another thing. It was like, oh, he's doing Frankenstein. And I was like, oh no, he's not. You're not going to do anything like what I'm going to do. So that's okay. That's okay. He can do whatever he wants.
Well, the only
Yeah.
sequel I could think of that would work would be Frankenhooker, and I really did like that one a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's fun. Yeah, all those bodies, the crack hookers blowing
Yeah,
up.
the
at
crack
end,
hookers, the Jersey
blowing
boy
up.
wants a date.
Yeah. There's some really fun stuff in that. Yeah,
There is.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh man. Well, I think that's all I got. I mean, I
Oh,
think we're ending on a good note, and I appreciate you. I mean, and please promote your websites.
okay, awesome. Yeah, if you want to see my work, and I have all these uncut, uncensored versions of my films. If you like graphic violence, then you'll love these movies. You can go to www.terrortoons.tv, and that's spelled terror, and then tunes is spelled Toons, like cartoons. My husband and I own a franchise called Terror Tunes, and it's not true crime. It's cult movie madness. If you like cult films, then you will love the Terror Tunes franchise. But we do have some slasher movies in there. One of them is called The Summer of Massacre, which has the Guinness Book of World Record for the highest body count in a slasher movie, which is 155 on-screen kills. And you can see that from, like I said, www.terrortunes.tv. And you can reach me online every day at on Facebook at I'm an easy find. It's facebook.com/Joe.Castro, or on Instagram I'm Joe_Castro_director. Send me a message. If you send me a friend request, introduce yourself, and let's make a movie.
That's how we met. You're very approachable, very friendly, and I appreciate that. And I was watching Terror Tunes Part 4 yesterday.
Okay.
The beginning is insane. I need to finish it. I was trying to look up your website. I might have typed it wrong. I couldn't find it, but I want to go there because I want to see Part 1 because I know they're great films.
Yeah, each one of the movies is its own kind of sort of thing. Like watching a Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s, everything was kind of every cartoon had its own genre, kind of its own thing going on. And I kind of wanted to do that when I made the films. They're not direct sequels of each other, so each one has its own weird kind of take on cartoony madness. And so
they're great.
So thank you for saying that. Yeah,
I think, and maybe to end note, I'll insert a picture here, maybe of you in 2007 Halloween. This is Joe in his full glory.
Right on. Yeah, I'm super proud of that.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to relive those olden days. Maybe I'll get back there one day.
Yeah, well, I'll get there. And of course, for our listeners, we have some merch up now. We got some cool T-shirts, and I got one that says "Don't yell at me" because I talk to serial killers. I thought it'd be a great bumper sticker.
That's great. I love that. Yeah.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you for joining us, and everybody have a good night. And bye.
Good night, Jeff. Thanks for having me on the show.